What's up, guys? So today we're going to do a little bit different of a Power Rangers review because it's not really a legacy line. In fact, it is Soul of Chogokin from Tamashii Nations. So this thing is awesome. It is a tiny little Megazord, as you can see. This box is not enormous and taking up my entire seat, or set, for people who can read. I didn't realize this was even a thing. This was, of course, brought over by my buddy Dan. And yeah, it's a little bitty Megazord. So you got Soul Chogokin logo, Power Rangers logo there, Megazord image clearly right here, Super Robot Chogokin, Soul Chogokin, Megazord, Choking Hazard, stuff. Probably says Daijujin, if I had to guess. I have no idea. I can't read that. Because over there, of course, in Japan, it was not known as Megazord, it was known as Daijujin. So it is what it is. Here it is from Bandai 2012. Very hard to focus on that. Come down here, you get all kinds of stuff. Nice little image of the Megazord there. Come around here, you get a sideways image of the Megazord. I don't know what that's all about. Come to the top, and you get a cool black and white image that we saw a minute ago. And come over here, and you get all the choking hazards and all the little stuff that I can't read. Hey, Bluefin logo. Yay for that. Come over here. Little guy with toilet, just like all the other things. And no yen cost. Unless it's that. In which case that's expensive. Provided by the toy company. Heck yeah. Let's look at the back. The back shows stuff. So we've got lightning stuff. We've got cannony stuff. Everything going on in the background. And we've got, hey, he's got a popsicle. See? Nice big lightning popsicle there. And mammoth shield stuff. I can't read. This is awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this guy out of here and see how cool it is. Alright guys, now we have this really, really awesome figure out of the packaging. And this thing is friggin' awesome, guys. It's awesome. I don't know. There's a word there. So it comes with a whole bunch of accessories, as we can see here. And it's clearly just probably one of the best Megazords ever, if I had to guess. Like, if there's another one that's better than this, articulation-wise and gimmick-wise, I don't know just yet. I mean, the big Soul Chogokin is awesome. This little guy, I really I really do dig this. Now, before we get into looking at him, let's, of course, look at his accessories. So, of course, we have obligatory mastodon head / mammoth shield. Now, of course, because it doesn't have a combining gimmick, you lose a lot of the details and all that crap that you don't really need. So his trunk is already sort of folded under and then just disappears. Would you say it's truncated? And instead of being silver, it's this dark, like brownish metallic color, though it does look exactly right. It's got the paint color, everything exactly right, and it's got the handle right in there that actually looks like Mjolnir got stuck in the back of an elephant. So that's pretty cool. And he can hold it in his hand. I'll show that off in a little bit, because right now I have a different hand in there, because this guy does come with quite a few. So you get the kind of expressive hands, both left and right. You get the holding stuff fist, both left and right. And speaking of which, I'll go ahead and yank that one off. It's very simple, little ball joint. And install that guy just like that. And while we're there, I'm going to go ahead and shove this into his hand, which is easier said than done, because you can see it's a very, very tight fit, and actually the trunk just totally popped right off. I assume that was a thing that can happen, and I just made it happen. Yeah, it just got a little tab there. So there's some assembly required occasionally on this. There we go. So you can totally hold the mammoth shield just like that. Okay, so on top of his other hands, he does have punchy little fisty hands. So pump, 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 pump. Want to fight? Want to fight about it? All right. So set all the hands aside, because those get kind of annoying. Now you do get his obligatory power sword. And this thing looks really, really nice. Not done in chrome, done in a really, really nice Bandai silver with a nice gold inlay right there. Beautiful molded handle. It's just pretty. Now, you can hold it as well. Go with the standard right hand holdery, just like that. And now you've got Megazord ready to go into a battle with Goldar, like so. Now, there's a problem that we're going to address real quick when we talk about this the last accessory here for the sword. So this is, of course, supposed to be the final attack. The like power slash or whatever. We affectionately call it the lightning condom. And this does just go over the sword as such. So adding the cool effect to the sword. Now, one problem you'll see immediately, you can't hold it up. He even has a problem holding up the sword. Now, sadly, this is not really a defect with the toy, but it is, in fact, a problem. It may be hard to see, but right there in the elbow joint, it is broken. It's actually cracked. Now, I was trying to fix it for Dan, because realistically, it's not going to be hard to fix. It just needs a little bit of glue, and then tighten up the joint itself. And this guy is essentially assembled like a Gundam. So I pulled off the arm, because it doesn't just peg right into the side, just like that, just like one of the modern HGs does. And you guys can see it's a little torn up right there, not a lot. Basically, just like a Gundam would be, tried to pry apart the shoulder so that the bicep armor would slide off, which would give me access to that joint, and I literally could not get it apart no matter how hard I tried, guys. So Dan, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to fix it. We might be able to get it with a little bit of super glue. I couldn't get the actual the cement I was trying to get in there into the joint effectively to actually make a difference. So if you guys have that problem on here, obviously it's built in a very similar manner to a Gunpla. So if you can get it apart, I mean, it is incredibly stuck together. I mean, it's not glued, it's just very, very well manufactured, put together, to the point that even using, I don't want to say the best tools I had, but at least the tools that I knew I wouldn't destroy it with, I could not get it apart. But in the meantime, it can at least hold the sword of power, the power sword, up effectively. Now, it does have two elbows, kind of. So if you engineer both of them, you get a little bit more strength. Maybe that'll help to some degree. You can at least bend it at the second elbow, and you can hold it like that. So that's not terrible. It's not exactly how you'd want it, but it could be a lot worse. So utilize at least the second elbow joint. Now, the final accessory is something that realistically in the show was only used maybe once, if we can recall properly. And it is the cool lightning horn. So you even have the blue and pink lightning coming out of that. And basically the only thing you do with it is tuck it around the front horn here. I'm not entirely certain which direction it's supposed to go. So I guess it just like so. Well, let me see here. I don't know. Do these rotate? Oh, they do rotate. Okay. See, I don't know. I was very, very quickly shown what all came with this, but didn't get a chance to mess with it myself. Maybe it's vertical, not horizontal. I'm stupid. More or less. Okay, well, I like that, but that's not the way. It's supposed to be kind of a downward deal. Oh. Why is everything coming apart on me today? Okay, so there we go. Now we've got the Megazord shooting lightning from his horn, as he should do. And we can get a nice downward look with the head. And just for fun, we'll have him shooting lightning at Wally. That's just, I mean, it's mean, but, you know, you get it. It is Wally. By the way, that's how big he is compared to Wally. So Wally's only up to his knees. Wally, this is the little version of the big Megazord you met before. I know the other Megazord held you up and stuff. This one can't really do that. I'm sorry. So, get out of it. And here we have it with, you know, its bigger counterpart. So, just the enormous size there. And because it's peeking in on camera, there it is. Also, with the Legacy version. So obviously it's about half height to either of the bigger Megazords, but it's still really awesome for what it is. Alright, so given that this guy is basically a little version of the big guy, articulation is totally a thing on here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the sword back out and the head. Now, that's kind of gotten stuck, so I'm just taking to removing that, and ignore the shadow over here. That's nothing. So, you have a head that is mounted on what I can only presume is a ball joint for just the head itself, and some type of swivel or even potentially another ball joint underneath. You can look down that far, you can look up that far. Chin got a little messed up there. Some of the paint seems to be a little wonky, like he's got a scratch right there on his faceplate. Now he can do shoulder rotation, as it's just a ball joint right there. You fold down the arm and you got a nice cutout, so you can get a decent high teacher sort of going on. You can't really get all of the things, so it's a handless high teacher. Now he can do a very good shrug, just like so. Got a paint flakage here. He does have a really nice ab crunch forward and a little bit back. And if you give it a little tug, it accordions up and you get a whole lot of reach. So you can really be bending over. So if you really wanted to use that lightning effect, you could really use it there. Or he's looking for his contact he dropped. I don't know. Something like that. I don't particularly like the extended part because it makes it feel a little scary. You do get some hip skirts right here. I don't believe you get only a little bit of rotation. Not going to go very far. You do get front skirts that come up. This thing is actually very much like an HG Gundam. You got T-mounted hips right there with a little bit of a cutout, so you can go out about that far. No Jean-Claude for this guy. He can kick forward about that far. He can kick back that far before it starts getting really restricted. You've got full-on rotation there. And you get a really neat double knee that he pretty much can kick himself in his own back, because this is so long. But I love what they did here with this. That is so awesome. This is a thing they could not possibly do on the full combining version. Couldn't possibly give it a double knee like that. That's just crazy. Now you also get a foot that is ball joint and kind of swivel mounted at the same time. So you get a little bit of wiggle waggle. You get ball joint here. You can rotate it. And you also have toe pivot both in the Triceratops and in the... Okay, there we go. That is weird. Why would this go downward and then that? So I guess you get a forward lean like so. So you have a different sort of thing going on over here with the saber-toothed tiger, but you do get the nice pivot, so you can stand in a really nice wide Megazord stance like so. That's just impressive. It really, really is. Yeah. Or he can rock back. No! He lost his hand. Actually, let's see here. Let's get a picture of that. That'll be a caption this moment. There we go. Now he does actually have a really cool thing I didn't point out during the accessories, because it is built into him. You get some nice shoulder cannons. Now this is something I wish the Megazord always did. Whether Daijujin did this in Sentai, I don't know. But this is the first time I've ever seen the Megazord use its cannons. It's got them on just little like struts that are ball jointed at both ends, and they do fit very nicely down and over. And then the tail and all that is molded in. Now, that's one thing this thing is very good about. It has a lot of molded in detail. It still lets you know that this thing was separate things at one point. So you still get the tail of the T-Rex all the way down to here. You have some nice vents. You even get the back of the T-Rex legs like we saw earlier. You get the tank treads all nice and molded in. All the other details here for the Triceratops. Same thing on the saber-tooth tiger. Even the stuff on the backside. It gives it a little bit of detail. Send it down along here. Of course, the Zord itself looks very nice, although it looks almost like a wolf, not a saber-tooth tiger, just saying. The Triceratops looks good, though the horns have a very sharp, very forward pointing. I don't know. I mean, it looks good, it's not exactly right, but I like it. Let's see here. He can limbo really well. Very good. That's good. Good Megazord. Very good. Oh, and I totally missed it on actual articulation. Completely forgot. He does, of course, have the double jointed elbows, or 1.5 jointed elbows. So you got the main elbow here, and then you got a small flexing joint there. But also in the wrist, you kind of get that forward elbow, I like to call it. So you can tilt the wrist all the way up like that. And of course, the ball joint is exposed there, but of course you get straight up wrist pivot. So that's really awkward, but I mean, it means that you can touch your own shoulder. And of course, bicep swivel, which this is probably honestly how this got broken. Just grabbing it by the lower bit of the arm and turning it. That you got to be real careful with that, whether it's Gunpla or any other kind of toys, where it's a very thin, small elbow joint. You want to make sure you turn at the highest point possible, not from the lowest, because you might tweak it and you don't know it. So guys, for final thoughts, if you can get your hands on this thing, I would say do it. I have no clue what the cost is. I'd have to say probably close to $80, $90, $100. If it hasn't been around since 2012, maybe it might be more expensive. No clue. Dan wasn't here for me to actually ask him. But I do love this thing. The stuff it comes with is really top-notch and cool. If you have any issues with the joints, you got to do what you can to live with it or fix it, I guess. But otherwise, it's a really, really awesome action figure from this old Chogokin line. It's just pretty. And of course, I proved that the bigger one could hold this one. I honestly didn't think it would, but it did. And it's awesome. But guys, make sure you stick around and watch all my other Power Rangers reviews, whether it's from the Legacy line or original Deluxe line. Let's see here. Stand the sword up in the background. Yeah. Sorry, I was having a little too much fun with this. But, yeah. If you like this, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. I do fun, nerdy stuff like this all the time. Whether it's Lego, Power Rangers, Gundam, Nintendo, all the stuff. All the things, guys. And always, I want to thank my patrons because you guys are great. Your support is always welcome. And of course, by now we've probably hit 1,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. If you haven't checked out the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, if it's still going on, make sure you go ahead and hit that up if you are a subscriber and you haven't seen it just yet. But I'll catch you guys on the next review. And as always, keep on nerding.